Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Okay then, the Fusion event is live. In this video, I am actually going to do a couple of quick tests with LYSANTHIR's Hydra capabilities, throwing him into one of my best teams and seeing what sort of performance we get out of him, just so you can see it. So that's going to come towards the end of this video, but ultimately the Fusion calendar is out there. We're going to have a look through it. Generally, this style of fusion is actually one of the tougher style of fusion, so I guess we'll see what it looks like. But yeah, Beastbane here, you're going to need to collect fragments for the Rhino, 4 epics worth of fragments to then fuse into the legendary. Obviously, if you're super lucky and you pulled a Rhino in a Void Shard or something, then bam, you've got yourself 1/4 of the problem done. But yeah, you've got this HP based Rhino Void Walker, Skinwalker. It's Monday morning, guys. I can't speak. But you're going to need to select 400 fragments of those to turn into 4 different Rhinos to then turn into the legendary. And they kind of walk through all this stuff here. But we've got a cool graphic for it, so we're going to have a look at that instead. So what's going on? Ultimately, 175 tournament points and 175 event points. So you need 400, don't forget. 50 from the hero's path. And then another 50, which are also potentially are in this hero's path. So hero's path generally is like the different tracks, which doesn't bode well because they normally suck. Let's just try and work out what we think it's going to be in terms of like the type of event. Or in fact, let me just have a quick look on Plarium Play on the calendar here. See if we've got any secrets that can drop already. No. Fusion event is here. Looks like they've not filled out any of the fusion event stuff yet. Okay. It was a bit of a long shot. It was quite early. So what we got? Spider tournament. Okay, that's just running your best spider comp. If you're early game, spider 10. Otherwise, hit spider 20 for easy points. Champion training event kicking off. Dungeon divers kind of dovetails into the spider and the champion training. You're going to need to use all of that because dungeon divers is generally pretty tough. We come into gear enhancement, so just basically burning silver on gear. We then get finite, which does kind of like dovetail into the dungeon divers as well. So you're going to want to make use of your energy at the right times here. 1 classic arena, 2 classic arenas. They're generally quite easy if you're just playing active. A second, so there's only 2 dungeon diver events, which is good, I guess, and they're quite short, which means the point scoring shouldn't be too nuts. That's good. The third one normally is where people tend to lose. And that one is pretty much all Dragon Tournament and Champion Training Tournament to get that done. And then you're probably going to have to burn additional gems or resources to finish that Dungeon Divers off. We've got 3 gear enhancements all in all. You've got your Ice Golem up the top there in another arena. So there's no summoning. Oh no, we've got Summon Rush here. There's no second summon events. And this is over the weekend. So it's almost guaranteed that the hero's path is going to be a summoning one. Like there'll be summoning and then there'll be one other way of getting points. And because there's only 2 dungeon divers, I'd probably bet my house on it being gaining artifacts the same way you would do dungeon divers. So I would say this is going to be summons and artifact grind to get this done. Wrapped into a hero's path. It's probably going to be quite tough, honestly, to get the extra 50 points. But to get the 50, hopefully it would be relatively normal. You've got a summon rush here, so maybe it would be more like... They don't normally have a champion chase mechanic on a hero's path. So, yeah, it's a tricky one because you're kind of wondering whether to hold shards for this or not. All in all, because this fusion feels bad, I think it's going to be one of our most, skippable fusions ever. But let's test it. Let's test it out before we kind of like go into that. And I do just want to have a look at what's going on already. Champion Chase running right now. Champion Chase, obviously it's nothing to do with the fusion. We can earn a big soul and you can earn a 5-star. Damn. The winner would get themselves a 5-star soul for Chalco the Blind if anyone picked him up over the weekend. So that is going to be where the Krakens play for the next day or two. My main account is back, by the way. Like free to play is over. It feels so weird. Like my main account has been literally dormant for a while. Champion training is up. This is a fairly short one, 4 days. Still after 11k points. So this is, there's just inflation. Like this is 10% more than it always was. 6.1k to get the Rhino. It's high. It's high. Feels bad. You know, a lot of people say, oh, content creators, you push the point scoring up if you say it's good. That's not what it is. It's literally just like there's inflation in the amount of points required to get these things nowadays. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to jump on the test server and just try this guy out in a Hydra build. Okay, so I'm on the test server here. Quick reminder of skills. So we've got an A1 double hitter, first hit chart. The first hit's got a chance to place Hex. I'm going to throw him in and book him out in a second. And then you're going to get crit damage on him. All of his damage scales from defense. You've then got a double hitter on the A2. This is the most important skill, really, that we're testing out. 20% chance of repeating the attack. When this champion counterattacks or teams up with allies, this is the important one, really, for Hydra, teams up with allies, this is the skill that they're going to use. And the damage increases by 10% each time an ally is devoured. So the longer you go through a Hydra hit, the more damage you're going to do, up to 50% more with this skill. So if we can put him in a team that uses this skill a lot, i.e., Teox with what's her name again? Mikage. Those type of champs, then you're going to have a good chance of at least scaling the damage from the A2 up really high. We then got a double hit AoE with each hit having a chance to place weaken and decrease speed. This is actually a great Hydra skill until you get super endgame, and then the decreased speed isn't as effective as it used to be, but still pretty useful for most players. And if they're under Hex, if a target is under Hex, places these debuffs before he attacks, which means that you don't need to worry about affinity for this. So everything's defense based. We've then got this passive as well, ignoring life barrier and ally protect, and increases champion's defense by 5% for each active buff on this champion. So if you can get a lot of buffs in your team, you can get up to 50% more damage, really, or more tankiness from this champion. So I'm thinking Nature's Wrath, because we do want to land a lot of debuffs. That's going to increase our damage. I am going to build in full damage. I'm actually thinking to just steal Harima's gear. That's my best geared defensive champion. Okay, so Harima for me has got pretty nutty stats. Lots of defense, lots of crit damage. So we're just going to throw... how do we do this again? No, wrong one. I always forget. Am I making this a shareable thing? Here we go, preset manager. All of my presets disappear on the test server. So let's just go to F. So we are going in like great gear. I just want to see what this looks like with great gear, or very good gear at least. And then we do want to have enough accuracy to land stuff. So we're going to grab an accuracy banner with speed on it and some defense on it. Just seeing if I can get any more pinpoint for that extra speed. Defense as well, lovely. Okay. And then we definitely want a crit damage amulet. Don't need any more crits. Gives me more accuracy again. Okay, so we're down triple pinpoint. Lovely. Hopefully we get an accuracy roll. Got one. I do. So yeah, so it feels pretty good. So I can just throw a couple of glyphs on, but on the test server I got infinite resources, so that's all good. And we get some high rolls. Okay, lovely. So what's going on? We've got 236 speed, high amount of defense, high crit damage, enough accuracy to land stuff. And then what I'm comparing him against is my team that's got all my Teox and all my crazy champs. So Ieyasu is in that team as like the secondary damage dealer. And the sort of stats we're comparing against here is similar speed, way more crit damage, lots of attacks. This is, again, one of my best builds on my account for Hydra. So we're just going to jump in. I guess we'll go on brutal, just in case my stats don't quite add up. Throw this team in. So what's going on this team? We've got Teox giving us more attacks to the person who's got high crit damage, which in this team is Ieyasu. We've got drop defense and weaken here, and buffs for me. I've got lots of buffs for me for Krisk and provoke. I've got ally attack, as well as a sort of bring in your partner attack. And then we've got a reviver and more damage in my Lazarus here. So really like pretty high level team. Just making sure that his crit damage is not crazy. I don't know what sort of build I've got on him right now. No, I've got Mr. Support build here. So let's just do a quick battle. Should go to 1,000, as long as I haven't messed up tons of builds on the test server. Obviously, we've got buffs here from Mikage. Increase attack. So 628 mil. You can see here, Ieyasu is doing like a ton. 222 million from Ieyasu. Just thinking here, do we get increased defense from anyone from my team? Maybe I don't actually. Just on him. Oh, it's a little bit awkward because we kind of want increased defense for it to be a worthwhile test. Can I sub out here? Okay, I'm just going to switch the team up a bit. I'm going to take Krisk out and put in Grazure to see if this still runs the test, because I've not tried this setup. Should still run it, I think, on Brutal for sure. And then it's given us increase. I didn't actually. It went to like a way less turn. So anyway, 427. We lost quite a lot of damage from Ieyasu just because of time. Just discard it, and we're just going to try one more, see if it does run the length of time. 340. So it's not quite as kind of consistent, I guess. But let's now try changing my first damage dealer for Lysanthir. We can just eyeball what the difference looks like in terms of turn count that we lost. So we've still got someone bringing in the ally attack. We've still got an actual ally attack. And then we've now got increased defense and increased attack. So let's see what this looks like. $300 mil. So, and 64 mil. So yeah, compared to someone who's out and out, like kind of, I don't know about specialist, but really, really strong champ. Was that about half the damage that Ieyasu did? So I'm actually just going to play it through for just, 20 or so turns and then see what the hits look like and just make sure that, firstly it's working properly, but also see what the hits look like for Lysanthir when it happens, because generally that's what we're looking for here. But probably my first instinct was correct. This is a Hydra specialist that is good, but not like crazy special. So you see the A1 come in, and we get, I mean, to be fair, we got like an 800k hit from that A1, from the A2, because we got it pop off twice. And that's really what you're looking for, is how often can you get it to pop off? So, if Mikage does an ally attack like this, and the dude is in there, like how often are we getting that repeat hit? And that's the unknown, I guess. The danger with this team. This is why I've got someone that can revive, by the way, just in case people kill themselves with reflect damage. So going in there, the A2 goes in again, just like 500 odd K. It's still strong. It's definitely strong. But what you want is the rotating like additional hits to really get the benefit from it. I'll come back in when we've killed a few heads and been eating a little bit. So I'm just thinking as I'm watching this play through, and I think the challenge you've got here is this champion is built around, this. The benefit is when teams go a bit longer into the fight and people have been eaten more, and that's where your damage starts to cap. But it doesn't really get into late game teams where you go long into a Hydra fight. This is the first time I've been eaten here in like 5 minutes. And for a lot of teams, it's much longer than that if they've been well built. So I guess for lower level teams, he brings some good debuffs, but you don't really get the benefit of his passives and stuff. And for higher level teams, well, the passives don't kick in until so late in the fight that you don't really get the benefit. And the damage still is not high enough to really like, sneak him into that level of team. So I think he ends up being this kind of like anomaly type of champ where, you know, if you're an earlier game player and you pick him up, then yeah, he's going to give you some benefit, especially if you manage to get his soul after the event. But I don't think he lives on in teams for a long time. Like, I think he ends up being somebody that eventually just drops out of your teams for better examples. If I think about my free-to-play team, what did I really need? It's not necessarily someone else who hits hard. It was someone who does stuff like burns or, you know, or cleansing my team or all these different jobs I've got to do before I can have the luxury of just having someone in the team that hits hard. So he doesn't really get in that early game team that easily. I guess he does bring a weaken and a decreased speed, which is not bad, but he's not bringing enough. Like, I'd prefer his passive as some sort of healing mechanic or, you know, some sort of buff removal or debuff removal or something like that, where it just means you can fit him into your team a bit easier. But yeah, I think his skill set is out and out damage dealer, but he doesn't compete with the out and out damage dealers well enough for me. So look, I don't know. Let me know if you're going to go for him down below, like this, you know, and if you are, what are you thinking? What sort of teams are you considering to put him in? Are you seeing any sort of, you know, use case outside of Hydra? Maybe is there anything else that you think you would rate him quite highly for? I've got to say, in the HH gaming crew currently, it's going to be one of the worst rated fusions we've had for a while. So, you know, if you think there's something else going on that we've missed, then please let us know. There you go, guys. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you soon.